On an 5 October, a storm is coming. Not a storm of rain or thunder, but one that moves through the soul. It is a divine test meant not to destroy you, but to shape you. When the winds of life begin to rise, when everything seems to turn against you, this is not the end. It is the beginning of a higher version of yourself trying to emerge. The storm is not your enemy. It is the process through which strength, clarity, and wisdom are born. Many people pray for light, yet they fear the thunder that brings it. On 5 October, the storm will remind you that growth never comes in silence. It comes through the noise of breaking old patterns, through the shaking of everything false and fragile. You will feel resistance, but this resistance is the hand of renewal. Every challenge sent your way carries a message from above, a message that you are being prepared for something greater. The storm strips away what you no longer need. It removes the layers that you have built to protect your weakness, not your strength. It tears down illusions of control and forces you to see what truly matters. When you are standing in the middle of it, you might not understand. You might ask, why now? Why me? But remember, the divine does not test to punish. It tests to refine. On 5 October, the test will come to see if you can hold your center when the world loses balance. The wind will push, the ground will tremble, and people around you might lose direction. Yet, this is the moment when you must stand firm. This is the hour when your discipline must be stronger than your emotion. The storm will not wait for you to be ready. It will arrive without warning to see who has been preparing in silence. The one who has trained the mind, who has practiced awareness, who has listened to the inner voice. That one will not be broken. They will rise. In the storm, the mind will tempt you to fight against what is happening. It will tell you to resist, to run, to hide. But resistance feeds chaos. Acceptance transforms it. When the winds howl on a 5 of October, do not fight the direction of life. Instead, breathe, observe, and adapt. The storm cannot take from you what is truly yours. It can only reveal what was never meant to stay. It is in surrender that you gain true control. Every storm has purpose. It cleanses the air, it clears the sky, it renews the earth. Likewise, every spiritual storm renews your energy and clears your path. 5 October is not a day of destruction. It is a day of purification. It will take away distractions, expose truth, and demand action. Those who fear it will fall into confusion. Those who understand it will walk out reborn. Growth is not about comfort. Growth is about confrontation, facing the parts of yourself that still live in fear, doubt, and hesitation. The storm will bring those parts to the surface so that you can no longer ignore them. You will see what needs to change, what needs to end, and what must begin. That realization is painful, but it is sacred. It is the moment your true strength begins to form. When everything around you shakes, remember that only what is weak will fall. The strong will remain. So, let 5 October be the day you stop running from discomfort. Let it be the day you stand in the middle of your storm and say, I am ready. Because readiness is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to move through it with awareness. The divine sends storms not to test your limits, but to remind you that you have none. You were not made to crumble under pressure. You were made to rise through it. Every time the storm knocks, it is an invitation to rise higher. On 5 of October, that invitation will come, and you must answer it. Stand tall, breathe deep, and let the storm do its work. The process may seem violent, but it is holy. It is the destruction of everything false and the creation of everything true. The storm will not take your peace. It will expose the peace that was hidden beneath the noise of life. It will silence the distractions and awaken the truth that has been waiting inside you. Renewal cannot come without disruption. To receive new life, the old one must first be shaken. When the winds begin to calm, you will realize that nothing essential was ever lost. You will see the storm for what it truly was, a messenger of transformation. It came to strip away your fears, to break your illusions, to teach you that you were never weak, On 5th of October, the divine will call upon your strength. Do not look away. Do not fear the thunder. It is the sound of your rebirth. Stand in it with courage. Walk through it with grace. Let every drop of rain wash away your past, and let every strike of lightning awaken your truth. You are not being punished. You are being refined. The storm is not here to destroy you. It is here to remind you who you truly are. On the 5th of October, face it with stillness, and when it passes, you will not be the same. You will be renewed. On the 5th of October, something deep within you will begin to move. A force will rise to clear away everything that no longer belongs to your path. The storm is not just outside, it is within. It comes to break the chains that you have carried for too long, the attachments, the habits, the beliefs that keep you small. To step into renewal, you must first let go of what no longer serves you. This is not an easy process. It is raw, uncomfortable, and necessary. Letting go is not weakness, it is wisdom. It means you are no longer willing to carry what drains your spirit. On the 5th of October, the divine energy will confront you with the truth. You cannot enter the next chapter while holding on to the weight of the old one. Many people want to be renewed, but they refuse to release what keeps them bound. They want peace while clinging to pain. They want transformation while defending their limitations. But growth demands release. The storm of 5th of October will not ask for permission. It will move through your life, removing everything that is never meant to stay, relationships that no longer align, thoughts that repeat old pain, emotions that keep you trapped. All will be brought to the surface. It will feel heavy at first because what you are losing once gave you comfort. But remember, comfort is not the same as peace. Sometimes the familiar must collapse for freedom to begin. When the storm begins, do not resist. The more you fight to hold on to the old, the more the storm will shake you. Let go. Trust that what leaves on 5 October is not a loss, but a clearing. You are being prepared for something greater, something that requires space, silence, and surrender. Old versions of you cannot survive in the new energy. This is not about changing who you are. It is about releasing who you are not. The process of letting go often feels like breaking apart. You will feel the pull between who you were and who you are becoming. The mind will scream for stability, but the soul will whisper, release. Do not mistake the shaking for chaos. It is alignment. It is the storm doing its sacred work, removing what keeps you from truth. On a 5th of October, every emotion that surfaces is an opportunity to rise higher. Feel it, learn from it, then let it pass. Letting go means forgiving, not just others, but yourself. It means accepting that certain things were never meant to last. You cannot build a future while still holding the ashes of the past. Every time you replay the pain, you breathe life into something that should have ended long ago. The storm is coming to silence that cycle. It will show you that freedom begins the moment you stop holding on to what is gone. The divine does not take without purpose. What leaves on 5th October leaves to make room for renewal. The space that empties will not remain empty for long. It will fill with strength, clarity, and peace. But you must allow it. You must open your hands, unclench your heart, and release your need to control. You are not losing, you are being reshaped. Letting go is the art of trust. Trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. When something is removed, it is because it has completed its role in your journey. On a 5th October, trust that timing. You may not see the full picture, but you are being guided toward it. The divine storm does not destroy without rebuilding. It tears down only what blocks the light. There will be moments when you feel the urge to return to the old, to pick up what the storm has already carried away. Do not. You cannot heal by returning to what broke you. Let the wind close that chapter. Let the rain wash away your attachment to the past. The person you are becoming needs freedom, not familiarity. Every great renewal begins with release. The leaves must fall before spring can arrive. The night must come before dawn can break. On the 5th October, the falling will happen within you. You will watch certain parts of your life dissolve, and you must let them. They are not your identity. They are lessons, stepping stones, echoes of what once was. Thank them and let them go. When you release what no longer serves you, you begin to see clearly. You start to understand what truly matters. The noise fades, and what remains is truth, simple, still, and strong. That clarity is the gift of the storm. It clears the inner sky so that your light can shine without obstruction. The storm will not take your essence, it will reveal it. So when 5 of October arrives, do not fear what leaves. Do not cling to what fades. This day will separate illusion from truth, dependence from strength, comfort from growth. Everything that falls away will be replaced by something greater. Not instantly, but inevitably. That is how renewal works. Letting go is not the end of your story, it is the rewriting of it. On a 5 October, the winds will rise to free you from the prison of attachment. Allow them to move through you. Do not close your heart, open it wider. Feel every drop of rain cleansing your spirit, every gust of wind freeing your mind. This is not destruction, this is divine liberation. When the storm passes, you will breathe differently and you will walk lighter. You will see that the things you lost were never truly yours. They were lessons meant to shape your path. What remains after 5 October is real, pure, and unbreakable. That is the power of letting go. That is the beginning of renewal. On the 5th of October, the fire of transformation will rise. It will not ask if you are ready, it will simply begin. The storm will turn inward now, not as destruction but as purification. This is the moment when you face the truth that growth is not gentle. It burns, it breaks, and then it rebuilds. Transformation through discomfort is the path to awakening. Every breath, every struggle, every silent fight with yourself becomes the forge where your strength is created. Discomfort is not your enemy. It is the sign that something inside you is changing. On 5th October, you will feel it. A restlessness, a pull to shed what has been holding you still. That unease is sacred. It means your spirit is pushing against the limits you have accepted for too long. When you feel the pressure, do not run. Stay with it. The heat you feel is your old self melting away. The process of transformation is never calm. It demands honesty, patience, and courage. It asks you to face the emotions you hide, to confront the fears you silence. The storm on 5 October will bring those shadows to the surface. It will make you see what you avoid. It will force you to look in the mirror without excuses. This is not punishment. This is awakening. Pain is the signal that your spirit refuses to stay small. You will want to escape it. The mind will whisper that change is too heavy, that peace comes from comfort. But peace built on avoidance is fragile. True peace comes after endurance. The discomfort of transformation is the path that separates the ordinary from the awakened. On 5 October, you will understand this truth deeply, that nothing changes until you do, and change always begins with discomfort. The storm's purpose is to strip away illusions. It will shake the false identities, the borrowed beliefs, the fragile comfort zones. You will feel exposed, vulnerable, and uncertain. Yet this is where real power lies. Transformation happens not when you feel strong, but when you face weakness without turning away. Every crack that forms under pressure is an opening for the light to enter. Growth cannot exist without friction. Fire does not destroy gold, it refines it. The same is true for you. On 5 of October, the fire will come to purify, not to punish. Every uncomfortable truth, every emotional storm, every breaking point will shape you into someone sharper, clearer, and more resilient. Stop fearing the heat. Let it burn away your limitations. Let it show you what remains when everything false is gone. When the storm tests you, remember this: nothing real can be destroyed. The parts that crumble under pressure were never meant to stay. The parts that survive will become the foundation of your new self. Transformation is not about adding more to your life. It's about removing what hides your essence. 5 October is the moment that removal begins in full force. There will be pain, but that pain has purpose. The mind resists change because it wants to stay safe, but safety often becomes the cage that traps your potential. Discomfort is the door out of that cage. Walk through it, you may tremble, but walk anyway. The fear you feel is proof that you are close to something powerful, your true self. Transformation is not a single moment. It is a series of small deaths, the death of ego, of attachment, of old ways of thinking. Each time you let something go, you create space for something new to rise. On the 5th of October, that cycle will accelerate. The storm will remind you that endings and beginnings are the same breath, and renewal always follows surrender. Do not ask for the storm to stop. Ask for the strength to stand in it. Let every gust of wind, every drop of rain, every flash of lightning remind you that life is movement, and movement is growth. The pain you feel today will one day become your power. The fire that burns you will one day light your way. You are not breaking. You are becoming. On 5 October, the pressure you feel will not destroy you. It will reveal you. The version of yourself that emerges after the storm will be different, calmer, deeper, unshakable. You will not need to prove anything. You will simply yet be. The storm's noise will fade and silence will remain, the silence of knowing who you are. Transformation through discomfort is the most sacred process in life. It is where strength is born and truth is revealed. The storm of 5 October will not leave you the same, and that is its blessing. You will walk through fire and you will not burn. You will shine, because that is what true renewal feels like: fierce, raw, and unstoppable. On 5 of October, when the storm begins to fade, the air will change. You will feel the silence that follows chaos, the sacred calm after the storm. This is not just quiet, it is peace that has been earned. The world may look the same, but something inside you will not. You will have walked through the fire, faced the winds, and stood in the rain. And now, you will feel a stillness that only comes after survival. The calm after the storm is not about rest. It is about realization. It is about seeing clearly for the first time what truly matters. Everything that broke for a reason. Everything that fell away, fell so that you could see what was real. The storm that moved through your life on 5 October was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to cleanse you. And now, in the calm, you will begin to see what it has left behind: its strength, clarity, purpose. You will notice that the noise of the mind has quieted. The thoughts that once pulled you in every direction will lose their grip. You will begin to breathe with ease again. That is what renewal feels like: light, clean, and awake. The calm after the storm is a sacred pause between who you were and who you are becoming. It is a moment of deep awareness. On a 5 of October, when everything finally slows, you will sense a strange peace in the emptiness. The things you lost will no longer feel like losses. They will feel like freedom. You will understand that not everything was meant to stay, and that the things that remain are the foundation of your next chapter. This is the wisdom the storm brings. It teaches through breaking, and then it blesses through silence. You will look back at what you endured and realize that nothing was wasted. The pain that felt unbearable was the tool that shaped your character. The doubt that consumed you was the space where faith was born. The loneliness that broke your heart taught you how to stand alone without fear. The calm after the storm is the awakening that follows every fall. It is the point where struggle turns into strength and confusion turns into understanding. On 5 of October, as the clouds part, you will sense something rising inside you. A quiet confidence, a silent knowing that you have changed. The storm did not just pass, it passed through you. It moved the dust from your soul and made room for something purer. You will see your reflection differently now: stronger eyes, steadier breath, a softer heart. The world outside might not have noticed your transformation, but you will feel it in every part of your being. The calm will not mean that life becomes easy. It means you have become peaceful within yourself, no matter what happens outside. You will begin to live from the inside out, not from reaction, but from understanding. On a 5 October, when the winds stop, do not rush back into noise. Sit in the silence. Listen to it. Let it teach you. In that stillness, you will hear the quiet voice of renewal whispering that you are ready for new beginnings, ready for deeper truths, ready to walk forward without fear. The calm after the storm reveals the beauty of endurance. It shows that peace is not the absence of pain, but the strength to stay balanced while pain moves through you. It is the reward for patience, for trust, for surrender. The storm tested your faith. The calm will reward it. You will realize that every step through darkness was necessary for you to see the light that now surrounds you. There is a different kind of power in this stillness, not loud, not dramatic, but steady. It is the kind of power that cannot be shaken by noise, by chaos, or by doubt. On a 5 October, that power will take root inside you. You will no longer chase peace. You will become it. You will not look for answers outside. You will carry them within. The storm has done its work. Now, the calm begins its own. This calm is the rebirth of your soul. It is the space where healing begins. It is the reminder that life never ends in destruction. It always ends in renewal. The divine does not leave you empty. It leaves you open. And what enters next will be clearer, brighter, and truer than what left. On a 5th of October, the air will feel lighter because you will have shed the weight of everything false. Do not rush this moment. The calm after the storm is a sacred transition. It is your invitation to live differently, not in fear of the next storm, but in gratitude for the one that changed you. You will walk through life now with quiet strength, knowing that even if storms return, you will not be shaken because you have already stood in the fire and found peace within the chaos. When 5th October ends, you will understand something simple yet profound, that the calm is not given, it is created. You created it by standing firm, by letting go, by trusting the process. This calm is your reward, your rebirth, your renewal. You have survived the storm and now you are free. On the 5th of October, the world will feel heavier for a moment, the kind of heaviness that tests your faith. The winds will rise again, not to break you this time, but to ask you one question in silence: will you choose fear or will you choose faith? This is the dividing line between those who remain trapped in chaos and those who walk through it with peace. Faith over fear. That is the message written into the storm. It is not about what happens around you, but about what happens within you. When fear appears, it will come dressed as logic. It will tell you to doubt yourself, to cling to comfort, to avoid risk, to stop believing. But 5th of October is not the day to shrink back. It is the day to rise. Fear is loud, but it is not truth. Faith is quiet, yet it moves mountains. The storm comes to expose the difference. The winds will try to shake your mind, but they cannot touch your spirit unless you let them. The true test is not how strong you stand, but how deeply you trust when nothing feels certain. Faith does not mean the absence of fear. It means walking forward despite it. It is the choice to keep breathing when everything feels uncertain. On 5 October, that choice will matter more than ever. You will be asked to believe not in what you see, but in what you know. The quiet knowing that life never moves backward, only forward. Every challenge, every loss, every storm that comes is guiding you closer to your truth. When you see through that, fear loses its power. The storm will tempt you to panic. It will whisper that everything is falling apart. But faith teaches you to see differently. What looks like collapse is often creation in disguise. What seems to be taken is often being replaced. Fear shows you what might go wrong. Faith shows you why it's happening for a reason. The shift between the two is the moment you stop surviving and start living with awareness. On 5th of October, hold your ground. Anchor yourself in faith the way a tree anchors itself in the earth. Let the wind pass through your branches, but do not break. You were built for this. Every moment of struggle before this day was training. Every doubt you faced was a rehearsal for this lesson. To remain calm, centered and grounded while everything moves around you. That is faith in motion. Faith is not blind, it is deeply aware. It sees the storm and still chooses to stand. It feels the uncertainty but trusts the process. It hears the noise of fear and still listens to the silence underneath. When you begin to live from faith, you stop fighting the storm. You begin to understand that even the hardest moments are aligned with a higher design. 5 October will reveal that design, not through words, but through what it removes, what it restores, and what it awakens. You may lose people, habits, or parts of yourself that once felt essential. The fear of that loss will sting, but faith will remind you that nothing real can be taken. What is meant for your spirit cannot be destroyed. The storm only removes what no longer vibrates with your purpose. Faith allows you to let it go without resistance, knowing that renewal always follows surrender. Fear keeps you small because it feeds on control. Faith expands you because it thrives on trust. When fear speaks, it tells you to hold tighter. When faith speaks, it tells you to open your hands. The storm on 5 October will show you how much you've been holding on to, and it will ask you to release it. This is not about passivity, it's about power. The power to choose inner calm when outer chaos rises. That calm is faith. There will be moments that shake your body, moments that test your patience. You may feel like the ground beneath you is disappearing. But even then, keep your eyes inward. Every breath of trust will carry you forward. Every whisper of surrender will bring you closer to peace. You do not need to know the outcome, only that you are guided. The same divine force that sends the storm also sends the light after it. Both are part of your becoming. On a 5 October, remind yourself fear reacts, faith responds. Fear closes, faith opens. Fear looks at the storm and sees danger. Faith looks at it and sees destiny. One keeps you trapped, the other sets you free. Choose freedom, choose faith. Let your heart stay steady while everything else moves. That stillness is your strength. That trust is your protection. Faith is not built in calm weather. It is born in the storm. It grows when you keep believing, even as the rain falls, even as the path disappears. The winds will not last forever, but what they awaken in you will. 5 October is the day to remember that the divine never tests without purpose. You are not being broken. You are being built. You are being prepared for clarity, for purpose, for the calm that follows faith. When the storm quiets and you look back, you will realize something powerful. It was never the storm that changed you. It was your faith during the storm. That is what made you stronger, clearer, unstoppable. On 5 October, let fear dissolve like dust in the wind. Stand tall in your truth, trust the unseen, and walk forward with courage. Because faith is not waiting for the storm, it is learning to dance within it. On 5 October, something deep will awaken, not from the outside world, but from within you. The storm that once frightened you will now reveal its true purpose. It was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to strip away the layers that kept you from your truth. What follows the storm is rebirth, renewal, a return to divine alignment. This is the moment where the old you dissolves and the real you begins to breathe again. Rebirth does not come from comfort. It is born from surrender. You cannot be renewed while holding on to what was. You must release the version of yourself that no longer fits the life you are meant to live. On 5 October, the divine will remind you of this truth, that every ending is a beginning disguised as loss. The storm was never chaos, it was preparation. It came to remove the noise, the confusion, the weight that dimmed your spirit. What is left after it passes is your essence, pure, focused, alive. The path of renewal begins with stillness. After the winds fade, you will feel an emptiness inside. Do not fear it. That space is sacred. It is the soil where new life grows. On a 5 October, do not rush to fill that emptiness. Let it breathe, let it settle. Renewal happens in silence, not when you force, but when you allow. The divine cannot pour new energy into a vessel still full of the old. The emptiness is proof that clearing has happened. It is proof that your rebirth has begun. When you step into renewal, you begin to see with new eyes. The same world looks different because you are different. The things that once drained you lose their power. The distractions that once consumed you fade into nothing. What remains is focus, truth, purpose. You begin to move from awareness, not impulse. That is what 5 October teaches, that renewal is not about becoming someone else, but remembering who you've always been beneath the layers of fear, doubt, and attachment. The divine alignment that follows the storm is not something you chase. It happens naturally once you stop fighting what is. On a 5 October, the energy around you will guide you inward. It will whisper that control was never the goal. Harmony was. The more you try to force change, the more resistance you create. But the moment you align with truth, everything begins to move effortlessly. What once felt heavy begins to flow. Renewal is flow. The quiet knowing that you are moving exactly as you should, exactly when you should. This alignment feels like peace. It feels like breathing after holding your breath for too long. It feels like finally remembering that you are guided, always. The divine does not rush, and neither should you. On a 5th of October, let life lead you. Do not demand answers, embody readiness. The new version of you does not chase, it attracts. It does not control, it trusts. It does not fear the storm, it understands its purpose. That is the difference between the old self and the renewed one. One fights the process, the other flows through it. Rebirth is not a single moment, it is a way of living. Each sunrise after 5 October will feel different. You will rise lighter, speak softer, move slower but with intention. You will begin to feel your connection to everything around you. The earth, the wind, the people, the silence. This is divine alignment, the realization that you are not separate from life, you are part of its rhythm. The same force that moves the storm also moves through your veins. When you recognize this, fear disappears. You no longer resist what comes, you dance with it. The storm was the teacher, but the renewal is the lesson. It shows you what true strength means. Not to fight, but to remain calm within movement. Not to resist change, but to trust that every shift is guiding you higher. On a 5 October, that awareness will rise within you like dawn after a long night. You will not need proof. You will feel it. The clarity, the peace, the quiet fire that says, I am ready for what comes next. This rebirth will demand discipline. Renewal is not maintained by words, but by action. You must live differently now. You must walk with awareness, speak with purpose, move with gratitude. The energy of 5 October will not carry you forward unless you choose to walk with it. The storm gave you freedom. Now you must protect it. Do not return to the patterns that broke you. Do not lower your light to fit old spaces. The divine gives you renewal, but it is your responsibility to honor it. As the days move beyond 5 October, you will begin to notice a new rhythm inside you. Things that once caused chaos will no longer disturb your peace. You will respond instead of react. You will listen more, rush less, and feel deeply grounded even in uncertainty. This is alignment, when your actions reflect your truth, when your thoughts no longer fight your spirit. Renewal is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming whole. When the storm has passed and silence remains, remember what 5 October taught you. Destruction was never the enemy, stagnation was. The storm came to wake you, renewal came to restore you. You have been remade, not by chance but by divine design. The pain had a purpose, and now the purpose has power. You are no longer who you were, and you should never wish to be. This is your rebirth. The moment when your life aligns with your spirit, when your actions align with your purpose, when your heart aligns with the divine. Everything that happened before this day was preparation for this exact awakening. The storm came and it passed. What remains is you, not the version shaped by fear, but the one built by faith. On 5 October, your renewal begins and it will never end.